Hello everyone, welcome to my lesson today. Today we're going to be teaching yoga. I hope you have a mat. I passed them all out at the beginning of the class, so we should all have one. First things first, we're going to roll these bad boys out. Make sure it's nice and flat. Have all the edges out. Choices. You could either have your shoes on or not. I think it's easier to balance without shoes on, but if you're not comfortable taking your shoes off, then keep your shoes on. It's up to you. So now that we have our mats laid out, we're going to start with mountain pose. And mountain pose is pretty easy. It's like a beginner pose. Basically, we're just starting out standing. And we're going to be standing about shoulder width apart. And we're going to have our palms facing forward. And we're just going to stand right here. Make sure your feet are kind of like gripping the floor. And then we're going to be taking deep breaths. Take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. Another deep breath in. Deep breath out. Another deep breath in. And then deep breath out. I wanted to start with this because, like I said, this is basically the blueprint for all the other poses, and it's promoting balance and directs your attention to, just being in the present moment, which is really what yoga is about. And we're going to take the mountain pose, and we're going to go into chair pose. Chair pose is exactly what it looks like, sounds like. We're going to take the mountain pose, and we're going to act like we're going to be sitting in a chair. So I'm going to turn sideways for this one. We're going to start the mountain pose, still in the mountain pose. Feet flat on the ground, palms facing outward. And what we're going to do is, as you inhale, we're going to raise our hands. And then we're going to drop down like we're sitting in a chair. And we're just going to sit here for a while. And we're going to be taking deep breaths as we do it. The important thing about this pose is it's really strengthening the quads right here. This is the quads right here for you, your thighs. And it really teaches you patience, really, because you're just suffering in this. My quads are already on fire. I really want you to lengthen. You guys know what lengthen means? Lengthen through your arms. If you can, just feel it at the end of your fingertips. Extend through your spine and just kind of sit there. All right, I feel like we've suffered enough, so we're going to come back up. And we are going to come back into mountain pose. We take a deep breath in, deep breath out. And what I want you to do with this next one, we're going to take a deep breath in, fold halfway, deep breath in, back up, deep breath out, fold all the way, and then one more time, deep breath in. And for this next one, deep breath out, fold down. And what we're gonna want to do is get on all fours, like so. Let me adjust the camera. I'm not sure if you can see me. There we go. After the four, I'm going to start one more time. Deep breath in. Deep breath out, fold down. We're going to slowly walk this way. Make sure your hands
about shoulder width apart. Same thing with your legs. And we're just gonna have our head resting between our shoulders. And this is gonna be called the downward dog. If you can, if you have the ankle mobility, try to push your calves down. Get a good calf stretch in there. You know, I don't have the best ankle mobility, so I can't really do that, but I'm still trying. Still trying to push them down. Get a good stretch in. But also let your head rest in between your shoulders. Stick your butt up and just kind of hold it there. Just take deep breaths. Deep breaths. Once we are done here, we are going to drop down. Get your legs out. And we're going to drop into scorpion. Right here, we are stretching the lower abdomen. It's really good stretch for the lower abdomen. A lot of people forget to stretch things like that. You know, people are always stretching their legs, arms, but everybody forgets about stretching lower abdomen. Make sure you are taking deep breaths in every pose, because every breath is going to be sinking you deeper into the stretch. All right, to get out of this, we're just going to go basically back to downward dog and just walk. I'm going to take a deep breath in. Deep breath out. I'm going to readjust the camera so you can see me again better for this next pose.
And what we're gonna do on this next pose is it's gonna be the Warrior 2 pose. So we're gonna start right here in mountain pose again. Taking our deep breaths. And on the next one, we're gonna go into Warrior 2. And to get into Warrior 2, we're gonna want to stand with our feet wide, 3 to 4 feet apart, shift your left heel out this way, forward in front of you, and then you're gonna shift your right leg to the back. Your right leg is gonna want to be parallel with the top of the mat, and then your left leg is gonna be facing forward. So we're gonna be facing like this, and then we're gonna have our arms out parallel, and we're just gonna be facing this way. Lean a little bit into the stretch. You could really feel like quad working right here. I'm gonna stay here, and like I said the last time, in every pose, make sure you're doing deep breaths, because with every breath, you're sinking deeper into the stretch, and that's what we're trying to do here. We're stretching. All right, now we're gonna slowly come back up. Remember, you never want to rush out of your stretches because your body's in a very vulnerable position. So you wanna treat it nicely. You gotta treat your body nicely. And you wanna get back up slowly. So like I did, I just rocked back, and I'm back up, and we're gonna get back into mountain pose. And after the mountain pose, we are gonna do what I like to call the tree pose. I mean, everybody likes to call it that, but I'm gonna go ahead and readjust the camera again so you can see my feet on this one, because we're basically gonna be acting like a tree.
So here we're just in mountain pose. Take a deep breath in. Take a deep breath out. And what I want you to do is, depending on how flexible you are, you can either set your foot on top of your calf, or if you're more flexible and have the balance, you can set your foot up top here. I'm gonna do the beginner movement, and I'm gonna set my foot on top of my calf. And we're just gonna have our hands out parallel, and we're just gonna try to balance. Taking our deep breath, and we're balancing. That is what we are doing here. We are trying to maintain our balance on one foot. And we are having to breathe. Remember always to breathe. It helps with balance. I'm gonna switch over before I talk about it. I'm gonna switch over to my other leg. But if you're having trouble balancing, it's easier to stare at something that's not moving. Like, pick a spot on the wall that's not moving and stare at it, and you find that it helps a tremendous amount to not move around because you're focusing on something that's not moving. It helps so much. So much. And remember, we are taking deep breaths. Deep breaths. Always within our poses. After you come back down from that, we are gonna go in what I like to call the child's pose. Again, everybody calls it that. But we're gonna go ahead and get on, I'm gonna turn around, we're gonna get on our knees. We're gonna fall forward. We're gonna make sure to open up your legs a little bit so you have enough room to sit in. And we're just gonna fall backwards and sink into your hips. And we're just gonna sit right here. And this is called a child's pose. It's a resting pose. A lot of more advanced yoga doers do this pose in between much more difficult poses as a rest. You know, just sinking into your hips, you're stretching a bit, you're taking the deep breaths, and you're just resting. You're just resting. This is a good ending pose, I feel like. But we're actually gonna do one more simple pose after this, and I have a feeling that a lot of you are gonna like this next one. So we're just gonna slowly come back into it. And what we're gonna do for this next one, it's called the corpse pose. And for the corpse pose, you're gonna do what it says and act like a corpse. So we're just gonna lay down, have our everything by your side, you know, feet wiggling, fingers wiggling. And then after you have that out, you're just gonna lay there. And we are taking our deep breaths. Remember that, always remember that, deep breaths. And this is always a finisher pose for the reason that you're resting. And also in this pose, I want you to think about, you know, things that make you happy in life, or things that you are grateful for, you know, just generally positive thoughts that come to mind. I want you to think about them right now. And make sure you're taking those deep breaths while you're thinking. Main purpose of this pose, you know, is to finish it out, rest out the yoga session, and then, you know, how I said, find something positive to think about, because this was a positive experience, and that's really what we're all trying to do here, just have positive experiences in this yoga stretch. I want you to slowly start moving your limbs to to come out of it. Don't rush out of it. And then sit up any way you want. And that's it for today. That was our yoga session. I hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next class. Don't forget to pick up your mats. Thank you.